This Battlefield Report will cover the events of the Second Intergalactic War from March 31st to April 6th. Last week, the automatons were on their last leg as Operation Swift Disassembly was winding down. Durgan was the last remaining automaton stronghold, and all resistance there was vanquished by a sum total of 361,852 Helldivers at the time of final liberation. This photo captures what was thought at the time to be the last surviving automaton. The victorious Helldivers, weighed down with war metals and stained black with oil, began the march back to the Terminid front to begin the long-awaited counteroffensive against the encroaching bugs. A new major order was issued on Sunday to reconquer Hellmire, and Crimsica for the construction of new, safer, and more efficient Element 710 farms where Terminids could be held on spacious new enclosures where they could be enriched with state-of-the-art nutritional supplements under careful supervision. Less than 2 days were needed to accomplish the task as grizzled bot-front veterans reinforced the ranks here. And after completion, it was announced by Super Earth that procreation applications would again be considered for approval. Following the typical 180-day review process, any act that could potentially result in a child could resume, and Helldivers everywhere celebrated. But just as a victory parade was underway on Super Earth, word reached us that an automaton armada had been detected that was more than 10 times larger than that which attacked the Severin sector just 2 months ago. It descended upon the Valdis sector, seemingly out of nowhere, and by the time the fleet was detected, it was too late. The Ministry of Science reports that there was electromagnetic interference to Super Earth's communication satellite caused by the solar eclipse that day, and precious hours of response time had been lost as a result. The first wave began on Tuesday with the complete conquest of the Valdis sector. Vindamiterix Prime, Murga 4, Mechbuda, Cyberstan, and FTL hubs, Merak and Aurora Bay were lost in mere hours. As planets this far out on the galactic fringe have become vulnerable with resources and manpower diverted to the war effort elsewhere. The invasion force then moved into the Lakal sector, taking Chuha and Penta, but Helldivers were finally able to intervene at this time. The automatons launched fresh attacks on Cork Bay, Lasath, and Menkent, as General Brash issued a major order for all Helldivers to deploy immediately to the defense of these planets. And while the order was carried out dutifully by the Corps, the front line was simply stretched too thin. Menkent was able to be defended, but Cork Bay and Lasath were lost on Wednesday. Menkent was attacked again, as well as Vernon Wells, and Matar Bay was attacked in the Andromeda sector. By Thursday morning, Vernon Wells was defended, but Menkent and Matar Bay fell. Without a moment's rest, fresh automaton attacks were launched on Vernon Wells, Martail, and Marfark. Vernon Wells was defended for the second time by Friday morning, but Martail and Marfark fell, and thus the major order was declared a failure on Friday, with Super Earth having lost 10 planets completely, with active fighting ongoing on 4 more. Billions of innocent civilians that could not be evacuated in time are presumed dead, their votes lost forever. But by this time, the automaton offensive had seemingly run out of steam, and a new major order was issued on Friday to establish and hold the Menkent line, consisting of Menkent and Lasath, so that SEAF engineers can begin construction of orbital defenses on those planets and deter further advancement of the automaton fleet before counteroffensive operations can begin. Such a defensive line would shield Talus and Marspira from invasion, but a flanking maneuver through Marfark and Aesir Pass could jeopardize the entire operation. Most concerning is the loss of Cyberstan, the former cyborg homeworld, which was occupied by SEAF forces after the First Intergalactic War. This is presumed to be the main objective of the reclamation campaign by the automatons, but it remains unclear what their goals are now or what role the cyborgs may play in the future of this conflict. Back on the Terminid front, things have been relatively calm since the last major order was finished on Tuesday. Liberation efforts were underway on Nivelle 43 and Fori Prime until bug infestations were detected on Hellmire and Crimsica on Friday, which subsequently led to the loss of both planets, cutting off supply lines to Nivelle 43. But the FTL route to Fori Prime was preserved via Istanu, and Command anticipates the full conquest of that planet by Sunday. In other news, Tactical Command has recently developed a new defensive mission doctrine this past week, and it's being implemented for the first time against the advancing automatons. The mission requires a Helldiver squad to occupy and hold a fortified rocket silo for 20 minutes, while high-value assets in cryopods are launched into orbit for evacuation. And on Thursday, a new war bond was made available to the fleet, and by paying a 1,000 super credit tax, Helldivers are able to unlock an arsenal of new weapons, armor, and other gear to help regain the upper hand against the automatons. The most notable additions include the R-36 Eruptor, a bolt-action rifle firing jet-assisted fragmentation rounds, good for just about everything. The CB9 crossbow, delivering high explosive bolts over short range, good for controlling small crowds of bugs. And the BR-14 Adjudicator, an armor-piercing rifle which is good for... Guys, what is this good for? Research is still ongoing, and like a true managed democracy, the Ministry of Defense released a set of polls this week to assess the attitude of the Corps. 68% of respondents seemed lukewarm about the latest war bond, saying that it's good, but they feel like something is missing. And in another poll, 79% of respondents reported that the current selection of marksman rifles is in need of some tuning because they're feeling underpowered. The Helldiver Corps eagerly awaits how the Ministry of Defense will incorporate this feedback into future changes. And a Super Destroyer fleet upgrade was also issued out on Thursday. To counter the new automaton threat, Command has authorized the release of experimental Super Destroyer system upgrades that until now were under top secret development. First, there's the 8-week crew training program teaching the new superior packing methodology, allowing supply boxes to completely refill support weapon ammunition. There's the latest atmospheric monitors to survey live weather conditions for improved orbital targeting, the Eagle 1 XXL weapons bay, trading unnecessary fire suppression, ejection, and airbag modules for extra munitions. Then there's the new accelerant additive for fire-based weapons containing a compound of thermite, white phosphorus, capsaicin, and allyl isothiocyanate, among others, increasing fire damage by 25%. Arc weapons are seeing some improvement with the new circuit expansion upgrade, which extends out the arc chain, and the last available upgrade are blast absorbers for orbital sentries, a modified packing peanut which absorbs thermal and blast energy. Upon submission of the prerequisite number of samples, committed Helldivers can acquire this new tech thanks to the galaxy's finest defense contractors, leaders in quality and safety. Remember, this report is for your eyes only, Helldiver. This message should not be shown to other Super Destroyer crew members, especially the Eagle 1 pilot. Would you like to know more?
1, 2, 3.